Have you ever stood by the window, looking out at the world you used to move through so easily, and wondered, when did everything start feeling so out of reach? There was a time when you didn't have to ask for help just to open a jar, climb the stairs, or decide what to do with your day. You were in charge of your home, your time, your life. And then, slowly, without anyone noticing, that control began to slip away, not in a dramatic fall, but in small, quiet ways. A task you used to handle now gets done by someone else. You stop driving at night. You wait for others to tell you when to go, what to take, what's next. If any of that feels familiar, you're not alone. This video is for you, for the part of you that still longs to feel in control, even when the world around you says otherwise. Losing independence isn't something that happens overnight. It's not like flipping a switch. It happens slowly, quietly, over time, and often without anyone talking about it. One day, you're helping others. The next, you find yourself needing help. And not just physically, but emotionally, too. That shift can feel confusing. It can feel painful. And it can feel incredibly lonely. Here's the hard truth. Society doesn't prepare us for this part of aging. We celebrate youth. We admire independence. But when it starts to fade, people don't know what to say, so they say nothing. And when you're the one going through it, that silence can feel deafening. This video isn't here to fix everything, but it is here to name the things most people are too afraid to admit, the harsh, emotional, real parts of losing control over your own life. Whether you're feeling frustrated, invisible, or simply tired of having to explain what you're going through, I hope this gives you comfort, clarity, and a little more strength to walk through this chapter with your head held high, because you deserve that. So let's talk about what really happens when independence begins to slip away, and how you can find meaning, dignity, and even small victories, no matter where you are on the journey. Losing the motivation to go out, it doesn't happen overnight. First, you skip a gathering, then a quick errand. Soon, the idea of going out at all feels like more trouble than it's worth. You might tell yourself, you just prefer staying home. And that may feel true. But sometimes, underneath that comfort is a quiet fear of falling, forgetting, or simply feeling like you don't belong in fast-moving spaces anymore. Take Mrs. Ruth. She used to walk to the park each morning. After a minor fall, she stopped. Now, she watches the world from her porch, still smiling, but no longer joining in. The shift is subtle, but powerful. It's not about laziness, it's about lost confidence. And when confidence fades, independence quietly follows. Everyday tasks becoming quiet challenges. You used to do things without thinking: fold laundry, open a jar, reach a top shelf. Now, each task requires more planning, more energy, and sometimes more courage. You notice your hands feel less steady. The vacuum feels heavier. You avoid bending down unless absolutely necessary. You start waiting for others to visit, not just to chat, but to help. Technology becomes harder. 2. Buttons feel confusing. Updates change everything. You once taught your grandkids how to use a phone. Now you hesitate to answer it. And yet, these changes rarely get acknowledged. You don't want to complain, so you say nothing. You work around them quietly. But every time you step back from a task you once did on your own, a tiny piece of your independence is handed over, often without anyone noticing, including you. Growing dependence without realizing it. At first, it feels like help. And it is help. Your daughter brings groceries. Your neighbor mows the lawn. Your son refills your prescriptions. You're grateful, but over time, it becomes routine. You stop checking the mailbox. You wait for someone to drive you. You no longer decide when or how things get done. They just happen around you. You haven't given up control, but slowly, you've started to let go of it out of love, out of habit, or simply out of exhaustion. Mr. Clark, a retired teacher, once prided himself on being self-reliant. After a short illness, his family stepped in. He appreciated it at first. Then months passed. He stopped making his own appointments. He stopped cooking his own meals. Now, he wonders, was it the illness that changed me? Or the way they took over? Dependence isn't always dramatic. Often, it's made of kind gestures done too often, too quickly, without asking if you still want to do it yourself. Final thought for this section. Losing independence doesn't usually come with a loud announcement. It comes quietly in skipped outings, silent struggles, and helpful hands that slowly replace your own. The good news is, once you see these signs, you can begin to gently reclaim your space, your confidence, and your voice. It starts by noticing, then by choosing one small task, one small walk, one quiet, I've got this. Because you still do. Losing independence isn't just about what you can't do, it's about how that loss feels. And often, those feelings are the hardest part. Many older adults silently carry a mix of fear, frustration, and even shame. As they adjust to a life with more limitations, these emotions often go unspoken, but they are very real. Fear of falling, failing, or being a burden. Fear has many faces. Sometimes it's the fear of falling, a fear so strong that it keeps you from walking outside or stepping into the shower alone. It's not irrational. One fall can change everything. So, you start avoiding things that once felt simple. Other times, it's the fear of forgetting. You walk into a room and can't remember why. You forget names. You ask yourself, am I slipping? And perhaps the hardest fear of all, the fear of being a burden. You don't want to bother your kids. You don't want people to rearrange their lives around your needs. So, you stay silent. You push through pain. You pretend you're fine. But that fear of being too much, needing too much, can eat away at your sense of worth. Frustration. Your mind and the world around you. You've lived a life of strength. You've raised families, worked jobs, built homes, helped others. So when your body starts resisting the simplest tasks, opening a bottle, tying a shoe, the frustration runs deep. It's not just physical, it's emotional. You want to do something, but your hands won't cooperate. Your legs feel stiff. You can't hear clearly. You try. You really try. But the results don't match your intention. And what makes it worse is that sometimes people around you don't get it. They finish your sentences. They talk louder, or worse, talk to others about you, as if you're not there. The world starts treating you like you're no longer capable, and that hurts more than the aching joints. Shame, when needing help, feels like failure. You spent your whole life taking care of others. Now, you find yourself needing help and it feels strange. You shouldn't feel ashamed for asking someone to walk you to the car, or for needing help reading a label. But still, there's a little voice inside that says, I should be able to do this. That voice is loudest when others don't understand. When someone sighs, rushes you, or makes a comment like, you used to be so strong, it stings. It makes you want to do less to avoid the embarrassment, even if it means missing out. But here's the truth. Needing help is not failure. It's not weakness. It's part of being human. Final thought. These emotions, fear, frustration, shame, They don't mean you're broken. They mean you're still fighting to live fully, even when it's hard. If you felt any of these things, you're not alone. And you don't have to hide them. There's strength in naming your feelings. There's dignity in saying, "This is hard for me." Because when you say it out loud, others can finally understand and offer help, not out of pity, but out of respect. People mean well. They really do. Your children help carry your groceries. A caregiver insists on tying your shoes. A nurse talks to your daughter about your medication. Instead of asking you directly, everyone wants to make things easier for you. But sometimes, in trying to help, they accidentally take away something far more important than a task. Your voice, your autonomy, your independence. Loved ones who do everything for you. It often starts with kindness. Your son changes the light bulbs. Your daughter organizes your bills. They say, "Don't worry, I've got it." And they mean it with love. But over time, these gestures add up. You stop touching your bank account. You stop fixing small things. You stop deciding because decisions are being made for you, not with you. You may start to wonder, am I being cared for or managed? Even with the best intentions, when family steps in too quickly or too often, they can unintentionally make you feel invisible. Like your preferences, even your opinions don't matter anymore. Professionals who talk around you, it's frustrating, isn't it? You go to the doctor, and instead of speaking to you, they speak to your caregiver. How has she been eating? Does he remember to take his pills? You're sitting right there. But it's like you've vanished. This happens more than people realize. In hospitals, clinics, even assisted living professionals sometimes default to the assumption that age means incapacity. And that assumption strips away the most basic form of dignity being acknowledged. You might feel angry or hurt. You might start doubting yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe I can't handle this anymore. But you can. Maybe with some support, maybe at a slower pace, but your voice still matters. Always. San. A culture that praises youth and forgets to value wisdom. Fast, new, independent, still going strong. These are the traits we celebrate. But when you start slowing down, needing help, or making fewer decisions, society tends to step back. Seniors are often portrayed as fragile, forgetful, or helpless. Rarely as wise, powerful, and fully alive. That image is not only unfair, it's damaging. Because when society sees you as less, it starts treating you that way. And over time, you might start believing it. But let's be clear. Needing support doesn't erase your value. You are not a faded version of who you were. You are still you. With stories, insight, and strength the world desperately needs. Final thought. The people around you may love you. Professionals may try to protect you. Culture may not fully understand you. But your independence, your ability to choose, speak, and act for yourself still matters. And sometimes, the greatest act of self-respect is to gently say, "Thank you, but I'd like to try this myself." Because even if your hands are slower, even if your voice shakes, it's your voice. And it deserves to be heard. Regaining independence doesn't mean climbing mountains or doing everything on your own again. Sometimes, it begins with the smallest act, like choosing what shirt to wear or deciding when to water the plants. Because independence isn't just physical, it's mental. It's emotional. It's about feeling like you still get to decide something in your own life. Asterisk. Here's how you can reclaim that power. One small step at a time. Start with one decision a day that's yours alone. What time you want to wake up. What you want to eat for lunch. Whether to take a walk today or just sit by the window. The decision itself doesn't have to be important. What matters is that you choose it. Even asking a family member, "Can I make this call myself, or I'd like to do this part on my own?" reminds your brain and the people around you that your voice matters. Small decisions lead to small wins, and small wins build confidence. R. Set tiny, achievable goals. Forget go big or go home. Instead, try goals like folding 2 towels by yourself, writing 1 line in a notebook each morning, making your own tea. Even if someone else boils the water, each act is a quiet reminder. I'm still capable, I still have a role, and when you complete even the smallest goal, something shifts inside you. Not because others noticed, but because you did. San. Speak up about your preferences. One subtle way independence fades is when others stop asking what you want and you stop offering your opinion. Change that today. If someone is picking up food for you, tell them exactly what you're craving. If you'd rather listen to the radio than watch TV, say so. Your likes, dislikes, tastes, they still matter. Don't give up the small joys that make you you. Sue. Reclaim your space, even just a corner. You don't need to control the whole house. But what about one small space that's still truly yours? It could be a favorite chair, a drawer, or a shelf near your bed. Organize it how you like. Keep things you enjoy nearby: a photo, a snack, a book, a blanket that brings comfort. Having a little zone that reflects your choices helps you feel grounded, rooted, in charge. Woo. Ask for help the way you want it. There's a difference between being helpless and choosing how you'd like help. Instead of letting someone take over everything, try saying, "Can you assist me with this?" Not "Do it for me. I want to try first. And if I get stuck, I'll ask." This simple shift in wording gives you agency. It turns help into teamwork, not takeover. Final thought. Regaining control isn't about being fully independent again. It's about recognizing the control you still have and choosing to use it in your own way, at your own pace. So go ahead, choose your socks, say what you'd like for dinner, fold 1 napkin, set 1 boundary. You don't need a grand plan. You just need 1 small act today that says, "This part of my life is still mine." When we're young, we tend to define independence as doing everything ourselves: driving, lifting, making decisions without asking anyone. But as we age, that definition needs to change. Not because we failed, but because life has changed. And that's okay. True independence isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what matters to you, in the way that works best for you. It's a myth that independence is all or nothing. You can need help getting dressed and still decide what to wear. You can use a walker and still choose where you want to go. The key is not doing it all. It's holding on to the parts that still feel like they belong to you. Even as the body slows down, your thoughts, preferences, and dignity still carry power. Being independent might now mean saying no to social plans that drain you, or expressing your opinion during a family decision, or simply choosing who helps you and how. You're not just along for the ride. You still have a voice in your own life, and that voice matters. There's also strength in something called interdependence, the healthy back and forth of giving and receiving help. You've spent your life caring for others. Now, letting others care for you is not failure, it's balance. And when you can accept support without giving up your say, that's a powerful form of independence. Sometimes it's quiet. It looks like keeping your routine, speaking gently but firmly, or saying "this matters to me." That's still independence, just softer, slower, more reflective. The truth is, independence at age 70, Bosher, Or 90 might not look like it did at 40, but it's still yours. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to stay connected to who you are and define independence on your terms. So ask yourself, what part of my life still feels like mine? Start there. That's independence, redefined. If all of this feels like a lot, the loss of independence, the quiet changes in your body, the way the world responds to you differently, you're not alone. These experiences are more common than most people admit. And just because something is hard doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. You're navigating one of the most complex, emotional chapters of life with the same heart and courage you've always had. Maybe you've noticed that asking for help doesn't feel as easy as it used to. Maybe you're still trying to hold on to routines that once brought you pride. Or maybe you're quietly grieving the loss of little freedoms you didn't even realize meant so much. That's okay. It's not weakness. It's part of the natural rhythm of aging. A rhythm that includes loss, but also deep wisdom and quiet strength. It's important to remember that losing some independence doesn't mean losing all of it. It simply means the way you interact with your world is changing, and change, while uncomfortable, often brings surprising clarity. You might not drive anymore, but you still decide where you want to go. You might not cook full meals, but you still choose what brings you joy on your plate. These small decisions, these little moments of choice, they matter. They are your quiet power. And yes, it's okay to mourn the things you can no longer do. That grief is real, but don't let it blind you to what you still can do. You still have your voice, your memories, your stories, your ability to touch lives simply by being you. Even if the world sometimes moves too fast to notice, your presence holds a kind of weight that only experience can offer. There's no shame in needing support, physical, emotional, or spiritual. In fact, allowing yourself to be supported can be one of the bravest things you do. It says, I still care about living well. I still value myself enough to ask for help when I need it. That's not giving up. That's standing up for your well-being, your safety, and your peace of mind. If no one has told you this lately, let me say it now. You are still valuable, still capable, still deeply needed in this world. The way you show up, even if it's slower, quieter, more gentle than before, is meaningful. Your life is not behind you. It's still unfolding. And every day you wake up, you're not just surviving. You're continuing to shape the story of who you are. So take a breath. Give yourself credit for how far you've come. You've faced change with grace. You've adapted more than you ever expected to. And you're still here, still learning, still showing up in your own beautiful way. That's something to be proud of. If there's one thing to take from this video, it's this: your independence has not disappeared. It has simply changed shape. You are not less than who you were. You are not fading. You are evolving. Yes, the world may move a little too fast. Your body may move a little slower. And your role in the family or in society may feel different than it once was. But that doesn't mean you've lost your worth. It means you are entering a new chapter, one that still holds value, meaning, and space for your voice. Independence at this stage of life isn't about doing everything alone. It's about staying connected to your choices, your preferences, your identity. It's about saying, this is still my life. Even if you now share more of it with caregivers, loved ones, or doctors, you still matter. Your thoughts, your opinions, your memories, your dreams, they still matter. And the way you move through the world, even now, teaches the rest of us something we often forget. That dignity does not come from doing everything perfectly, but from staying true to yourself as you adapt to change. So what does independence look like for you now? Maybe it's choosing your own morning routine. Maybe it's speaking up about something that bothers you. Maybe it's saying yes to help, but only on your terms. Maybe it's protecting one quiet corner of your day where you still feel fully like yourself. Whatever it is, honor it. Because when you honor the small ways you stay in control, you strengthen the foundation of who you are. You begin to see that even as life shifts, your inner self, the part of you that cares, loves, thinks, and chooses, is still fully alive. Aging doesn't erase that. If anything, it reveals it more clearly. So here's your gentle reminder, in case you needed it today. You are not invisible. You are not done. You are still becoming, and that's a beautiful thing. Take each day one moment at a time. Ask for what you need. Celebrate what you still enjoy. Let go of what no longer fits. And remember that no matter how the world defines independence, you get to define it for yourself. That is your right. That is your power. And that is your legacy. If any part of this video spoke to you, even just one sentence, I hope you carry it with you today. Because what you're going through matters. Your story matters. You matter. We don't talk enough about what it feels like to lose independence. We often just say it's part of getting older and move on. But there's a lot more behind that quiet sentence. There are real emotions, real questions, and real strength in facing it all with honesty and grace, like you've done. And maybe you felt alone in this journey, but the truth is, many others are walking a similar path quietly, bravely, and with the same mixture of sadness and courage. You are not the only one. You are part of a quiet, powerful community of people who are learning how to live with change while still holding on to dignity and self-worth. So if this message brought you comfort or made you reflect, I invite you to share your story in the comments, or just a small moment from your day that reminded you, this part of my life is still mine. You never know who might read your words and feel less alone because of them. And if you're not ready to share, that's okay. 2, maybe just take a small action after this video. Pick out your own outfit for tomorrow. Speak up about what you want for dinner. Choose a favorite memory and hold it close tonight. Tiny steps, tiny choices. That's where power begins again. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're still becoming, and that is something truly beautiful. Thank you for spending your time here with me. If this message felt meaningful, I'd love to know. And if you'd like to join us again for more gentle conversations like this, you're always welcome. Take good care of yourself. You deserve that.